Hello everyone and welcome to another production of The Single H Show. Your name is
My name is Joseph Mills, and your name is
The Single H. And this week we're going to talk about kind of the new mapping that's been going on and how that is infecting multiple marginalized communities.
the new mappings.
Yes.
Yes, I think that is a very prudent conversation to have this week.
So,
For those of you that don't understand what Single H is talking about, currently there is multiple redistricting efforts going around from state to state. The Supreme Court of Virginia just overruled some redistricting efforts that state was voting towards. Right here we exist in the state of California, and our own state just passed a redistricting proposal that we would redistrict in a very specific way. And all of this spurs from different states that have been doing different redistricting efforts to help their specific political party. And this all started with the Republican groups in Texas trying to restructure things that they have more of a Republican stronghold in their area.
and they're also districting it in a way that are limiting black representation in their houses.
Yes, and a byproduct of doing that, these redistrictings have made it harder for certain economic groups, certain cultural groups, to make it harder for them to go out and vote. And very recently, in the state of Tennessee, one county that has been a traditional African American voting area has dissolved that voting area completely, and within the districts of Tennessee, there are very limited to no African American voting districts. And we really have to weigh this out, because this begins to extract voices and it cuts back to the original goal. If you cut out the voices of minorities, if you cut out the voices of marginalized groups, it remains power in very specific areas that are oppressive power groups.
Yes. AKA, what really builds, and I would highly suggest voting no to them, because allowing this is allowing the spread of fascism on a much more visual scale than what we have been seeing. Even though it had been very visual, this is putting us into a place where the battle will get from, it's already 10 times harder than it was last year, it's going to get to 100 times harder than it was last year with these in place.
Yes. So let's speak through this very, very clearly. And I want to begin to talk to you about the lenses that we look at our culture in. I'm reading this book currently by Zach Lambert, who is the pastor of Arise Church in Texas. And Zach is a highly progressive, very LGBTQ pro pastor whose church is just booming in the Texas area because he is a progressive voice that so many people are starving for in Texas. And one of the things in this book, it's called A Better Way to Read the Bible, but he gives a definition of the word normal within it. And the word normal is whatever the original constructed idea of something was. So if we define the phrase a normal America, let's look at the foundation of the American colonies. If we live within the phrase of normal America, we're talking about rich
Yeah.
sophisticated white men.
Yep.
So we are actually fighting against normality, because normality is so imbalanced, because it's based on a collection of rich, aristocratic white men.
Yep.
So talk to me about that. How do you respond to that?
In my mind, normal is whatever the primary group in power deems it as.
Yes.
But there's also, in my brain, I also definitely believe there is no such thing as normal. And there shouldn't be. Because if something is set as normal, that means certain precedents have been set that are harder to change.
Yes.
Because the second something becomes a precedent, you are fighting against someone's normality and how they see life should be. And then you have to fight
Yes.
against that set of beliefs, which is what we are fighting right now.
Yes. So that I want. Can I share what you just shared in different words?
Yes.
Kevin Smith in his movie Dogma, in the words of Rufus, the 13th disciple, who was played by Chris Rock in that film. He is the African American disciple that was never talked about because the book was written by a bunch of white guys. That's the joke in the book. As we know, there were no white guys. But it's a joke that Kevin Smith prescribed to this reality. So it works. But he says in this movie, there's we need to work between beliefs and ideas. And as soon as we make something a belief, it becomes this hard set. You use the word precedent. It becomes this hard set precedent that's really hard to overcome.
Yes.
Because if a person has a precedent, or if they have something that they believe in, they're going to fight to the grave for that.
Yes.
But what Chris Rock shares is we need to move ourselves into this place where we have ideas.
Yes.
Because ideas are something that can be talked about. That can be structured.
And ideas is something that you can build upon. You can easily change.
Ideas are something that can be built upon. They can evolve. They can change into something even bigger and stronger. So we pull all this back to this original concept that I shared with you with Zach Lambert. We are constantly struggling against beliefs and precedents that have been set by a white, rich, male dominant culture.
Yeah.
And where that we have gotten to with this, as recently as the last couple of weeks, and I really don't know when this podcast will post, but within the last couple of weeks, we've had the Supreme Court remove all the work that Dr. King did for voter equality rights.
And a snap of their fingers.
With a snap of their fingers, all of Dr. King's work disappeared. Well, not all of it. There is other places of racial injustice that have been conquered, but if you look at this for what it is the chopping blocks of moving us back to 1940.
Yep.
Yeah. So speak a little bit on that.
We are in the moment that if you are not a sit-het white man.
Six-het white man.
Yeah.
Cisgender, heterosexual, white male.
Yep.
Yes.
Your rights are openly getting targeted and getting torn away from you every turn.
Yes.
I'm not going to lie with all the news that's we've been getting, I'm like, oh, I need to get truly ready for the to go down. and get ready for if the good go down, definitely at the time that I'm not gonna lie, soon I'm gonna start looking at safe places for us to vacate to.
And safe countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause right how it's going, I know things will always get worse until they get better, but right now we have to get to safety because of everything.
So we have gotten back to this place of concentration camps. And what worries me is they're unregulated concentration camps.
But like they were.
Yeah.
Oh, it's history repeating itself?
And we're getting so many news reports on rapes, on pregnancies of young children.
And moving people who are pregnant into one Pacific area.
Yeah. I don't know if I've said about the deaths and the murders. So we've actually already gotten back to the concentration camps.
And they're already at higher than they were all of last year.
Yeah.
They were higher in the first month of the year than they were all of last year.
And you know what is killing me right now is there's no news coverage on ICE anymore. Because if you look at how things are going, we are slowly moving towards government-regulated media. Now, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, kind of has oversight of our media, but they haven't had this level of control as we're seeing. We are seeing a media group that is supported by our president take over networks.
Which is not how it's supposed to be.
Which is not how it's supposed to be. We've watched the defunding of the public broadcast system, which is a news source that gets to areas that don't have television or what have you. And they've always been that one source of getting news out to everyone because all of these places speak against the ruler.
Heads up, go support PBS. Go watch Stuff's The Musical. Go watch it. Everything repeats. Go watch it, and it's a wonderful show. So go.
And go get your free tote bags by donating. And if you have a used car or truck that you don't use anymore, most public radio stations take them as donations to rebuild and to sell.
Yeah.
So there's so many ways, there's so many easy ways that we can help keep this bastion of free speech going, because we've gone from them taking voting rights away that we are sitting on the precipice of not having freedom of speech anymore. And I will share with you truly right now, the Good Siblings are using what might be the last bastion of freedom of speech to the mass populace, which is podcasting.
Yep. Because even though it is a right in our Constitution, the administration has shown time and time again they do not care.
The Constitution matters not.
Because they are doing everything in their power to undo said Constitution. Everything in their power.
Yeah. And it is a fight and a struggle as we're trying to do things, because here's the base level. There are a lot of vulnerable, marginalized people that are suffering and will begin to suffer. I think about our aged communities as we are depleting billions upon billions of dollars in a war against Iraq that will strip our current old elderly friends of their Social Security. And there will not be a Social Security for me, and God bless whatever happens to you. And that Social Security isn't social services. We have paid in on this
Yeah.
Social Security is a fucking investment that we have put money into, and it is being misused. So there really is, from stripping away voting rights all the way down to hurting the most vulnerable of people, and not just limiting it to our age communities, but go ahead, take a deep breath, single H. Talk about what's happening to our LGBTQ trans siblings.
In the eyes of government, I already don't exist. That happened the first day he was in office. He took the one representation that showed me on legal document and threw it to the wall and spit on it. I do not know if my ID and passport are fucking valid anymore. I don't know if I can get out if I wanted to. We are in a time that everyone in the community is being targeted in a different and brutal way. And we cannot hide that, because it's happening. Every marginalized community is being targeted, and you have to know that by now. And if you don't read, find any news source and read, and you will see the harm that's been happening. Because I can't lie to you. The time since he started his second fucking term, I have not been off red alert. And I deserve to get off of it. So, in this moment, we need you to keep on fighting for our rights, knowing soon enough we might not be fucking able to. It is not our job. It's yours. Allies, show up. Please. We are in a time and our communities are getting burnt out. It's your job to stand up right now. It's your job. Not ours. We're doing it all the time. It's your job to stand up right now, please. And right now we are in a time of active voting. And every vote counts. I do not care if you don't think your one little vote counts, because it does. One little vote can sway everything. It's been happening from the start of our country. One little vote can sway and change everything. So vote if you can, and vote for human rights. Because we are not in a fight about disagreement. We have never been in a fight about disagreement. We are in a fight about basic human rights right now. And there is a defacted value of who you are in a person when you are voting against them. You are automatically a bad person because you're voting to take something away that is putting someone on the same ground with giving them the same right that you have. You have to vote right now. Vote, please, for everyone who can't, for all the trans kids, for everyone in the communities. Please vote right now. Please make sure that we walk into a world that is elite, a world that we can try to fight in. Please.
And I think a lot of it is not, it's a world that you can at least exist in as you.
Yeah.
And that's important.
That's why we have to, but for that to ever happen, we have to keep on fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Every marginalized community has to keep on fighting. If you want a Star Trek reality, you have to make sure everyone's voices is heard.
Because we're cannonballing into Mad Max right now. Yeah.
No, we're already cannonballing in the Hunger Games.
Well, that's true.
We're already in the Hunger Games. And
Yeah.
if you can't see that, man, let's read the Hunger Games right now. Because honestly, some of that might become useful.
Yeah. The new guidebooks.
The new guidebooks. Literally any dystopian book might be useful right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something I should not have to say.
Yeah. So let me ask you one question real quick. I want you to define this a little bit deeper.
Yes.
You've used the phrase a couple of times, people who can't vote. So I want you to describe it, and I think that I'm going to want to expand it a little bit. Describe who can't vote.
Right now, we are in a space that countless marginalized communities are in that possibility of not being able to vote. The black community, every trans kid can't vote right now. Every kid can't vote right now.
All right, let's start with that level. The
Yeah.
trans kids cannot vote because they're not of that age.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to vote for them to keep them safe.
Yes.
Okay. Now we'll go back to the other, because this is where I wanted it to grow out too. We've already seen this work in Tennessee to dissolve districts that were African American based. So by dissolving those districts, it makes it harder for those voices to vote, and it strengthens the oppressive voices.
Yes.
Yes. But what we can't be anymore is complacent. And when
We are from the the time to stop being polite. Because being polite will get you nowhere. And that has also been proving time to time again. There's a reason we throw tea in that harbor. It's time to do it on a wider scale.
by throwing white people in the harbor.
Well, homophobic, racist white people in the harbor.
Yes. All right. I
Yeah.
have gotten you wound up, and we're going to go ahead and slow things down.
We are in a place that the African American community, all the letters are also being targeted. Because we are also seeing Marital Rights Act disappeared.
We were seeing a hard push for that.
So,
Yes.
that in the moment of voting, remember that every vote had power. And I would love you to make sure that there is a dot on every single one of those votes. Every single one of the options that you feel right. Make sure that everything you have voted towards, make sure you vote on everything this year. I do not care if you feel indifferent about something. In this moment, staying neutral, please don't do that. We are in a time that we have to rely on Democrats to try to do something. So try your best to lean blue. Or be blue in your votes, because, vote on the Democrats that are actually keeping their word. Not, as we've talked about in later episodes, the cheaper Republicans. And try your best to also vote on the cheaper Democrats.
Yes.
Because
there are some Republicans that are leaning towards some of the more liberal human rights, and that's a necessity right now too.
Because we are also in a time that we also need to lean on the cheaper Democrats, because if we're ever going to get to a place where we can have an independent party in there, we sadly have to walk the line of going Democrat, and then we can go in and make sure that we have the People's Party come in and fully have someone who can supply it with what we need.
Absolutely.
But there's steps to it, and that has to be one of them.
Yes. All right, we're going to go ahead and shut things down. We would like to apologize to Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery for not getting a commercial out this week. But please go to our Instagram page. We have the sticker shop stop. There are Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery stickers, gift, greeting cards.
Greeting cards and stickers. I'll figure out how to get the design large enough to get it on a t-shirt.
Yes. So please support Rolling Greens Golf and Cemetery in that manner. And for this week, that was the Single H Show.
Your name is?
My name is Joseph Mills. Your name is?
The Single H. Try your best to have a great week, Joe.